Hi. As someone who specializes in anxiety disorders, I would like to talk about the anxiety that we're all experiencing now as a result of the current coronavirus pandemic. As such, there is a significant difference between clinical anxiety and the anxiety we're all experiencing right now. The primary difference lies in the fact that a chronically anxious person is fearing a threat that exists in the future. That really has no basis in current reality, therefore is basically boundless. The threat that we're all facing right now is a real threat that exists in the present, and therefore we have a little more information about. The more information we have about a threat, the less we can fear it. Clinical anxiety is more intense because it's not bound by these facts. It is all imaginary. The problem with this viral outbreak right now is that while we know some stuff, we don't know enough. Knowledge and understanding does reduce fear. So everyone is scared right now because this is an unprecedented event. Though there have been pandemics in the past, this is a new pathogen we're only now learning about. We're all suddenly experiencing a total upheaval of our lives and usual routines, a sudden loss of normal. We're encountering a whole new life of a whole new normal, and we don't like it and don't know how it's going to play out. We don't know how it's going to play out, we don't know when it's going to end, and how it's going to end. There are just so many unknowns that cause our fear. Losing our old normal lives means countless losses for us all. We're losing normal and what was routine and predictable. We don't know what's coming next, what's coming tomorrow, and losing a sense of safety and security. We're losing the structure that our jobs provide us, and we're losing the pleasure of going into stores, restaurants, clubs, gyms, libraries, sporting events, and many other sources of enjoyment and socializing. These losses also cause depression, which we're all susceptible to right now. But it also causes anxiety because we don't know what else we may end up losing. Okay, so what do we do to cope with all of this unknown and loss? It's basically stating the obvious and what people are naturally inclined to do, but it also warrants highlighting here. We need to replace the losses with something else to fill the hole. Since structure is one of the biggest losses we're dealing with, we need to replace it with developing a routine for ourselves. Get up around the same time. Make your bed. Wash up and put yourself together. Try to do things around the same time each day to create structure and replace the exercise you can't get at the gym. I'm often urging people to exercise, telling them that it is the single best thing that we can do for our mood. And that is especially true right now. Anxiety is the cause of and the result of high levels of cortisol and adrenaline, the body's stress hormones. Exercise actually helps to flush cortisol from our system and stimulates the production of endorphins, which are the feel-good and pain-relieving brain chemicals. This is why people always feel so good after a workout. Please make yourself exercise right now. And we've also lost many sources of pleasure, but you can create substitutes, and you need to. Being homebound provides the opportunity to explore activities you may not have had time for before or much interest in. Necessity is the mother of invention, you know. I've already heard from clients who are experimenting more with cooking and also trying new activities or doing activities they haven't done in years. Games, music, art, crafts, social interactions with others that you live with, or in social media. When something happens that causes us distress, the common human trait is to look to others for assistance and comfort. It's a powerful and primal response to seek nurturance provided by others. Therefore, while the social distancing we're all being instructed to adhere to and are attempting to practice is the exact opposite of what our emotional health really needs. Fortunately, we do live in a world now with rich opportunities for virtual social interaction and human connection. You must make use of that. It's also a great opportunity to take care of some of the projects that have gone neglected in your life prior because we were too busy with work and obligations and our usual routine. All of these activities have a very beneficial effect on our mental health as they increase our sense of control because that has been another victim, another big loss, the result of this crazy virus, the sense of control. As the sense of control over our lives seems so diminished, it's important to recognize and resist the tendency for fatalistic thinking. When things are going well, we tend to think that things will continue to go well. When things start to go poorly, we think that things will continue downhill. We think that the line will keep going straight up, we think the line will keep going down, and neither is ever the case. It's always a sawtooth pattern. And I talk about this in my audio series, Anxiety to Serenity. Life is much like the stock market movements. Granted, lots of gyrations in that recently as well, but it's an up and down pattern, and the trend is upward. So to resist this fatalistic negative perspective, it's important to actively look for the pieces of good and the optimistic news. Warming weather does hold the prospect of slowing the virus as well as lifting our spirits. There are treatments that are showing much promise and are being fast-tracked. Also, keep statistics in perspective, especially the percent of people who are positive but have been asymptomatic or had mild symptoms. And the vast majority of people who had the virus have now fully recovered. So, the key points to remember. We're distressed with the loss of normal, which involves the loss of structure, familiar activities, and pleasures, and the loss of the sense of control. While we can't change that simple fact, there is much we can do in the meantime to make the best of this period of time, until we do again return to our old normal, because that will happen.